The newspapers are obsessed with sexbots. Sexbot. You're a sexbot. And they seem to be absolutely everywhere. And yesterday there was another story about sexbots. I think it was in the Star. And we read it, and I find it fascinating, absolutely fascinating. And one of the people mentioned in the story was a gentleman called Phil Bass, who runs the Dollhouse. I'm pleased to say we've got Phil on the line now. Evening, Phil.
Hello there, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you, mate. How are you doing? You all right?
I'm good.
So tell me, what is the Dollhouse?
Essentially, it is an online store, if you like, and we exclusively sell fully articulated, life-size, very real-looking and feeling sex dolls only. No sex toys or anything like that, just dolls.
What's the website, Phil? Because I'm going to have a quick look at it while I'm talking to you, if that's all right.
Okay, so you have the www.
Yes.
.the.
Yep.
Hyphen.
Yep.
Doll hyphen.
I got you.
House.com.
Let's just have a little look. And there we go. We're there. And how long you been doing this for, Phil?
Not very long. It's just coming up to about 2 years now.
And because these things, they're quite they're quite expensive, aren't they?
Oh yes, absolutely. They're not cheap. Not to be confused with the old blow-up variety.
You know those blow-up dolls? Did anyone ever buy them to actually have sex with? Or were they just used for stag weekends?
Yeah, they were always a gag.
Yeah. I can't believe anyone actually did that. OK, so what's the cheapest and what's the most expensive?
The cheapest, within the Dollhouse, you mean?
Yeah, of the ones you've got, yeah.
I mean, I've had some down as low as sort of £1,100 and stuff. It depends how they come, because we get offers from the various manufacturers and so.
And the most expensive. If I was a rich, lonely millionaire feeling a little bit fruity, what could I splash out on?
Well, I would certainly push you in the direction of Real Doll as a manufacturer, and this will be the one that you've heard about on the news and so forth. It's a work of art. It's not a mass-produced thing, so it can be very, very unique for you. So if you want a specific colour, shading on the cheeks, specific colour on the eyes, or you might want tattoos or scars or something, they can all do this, but you will pay a lot of money. You'll be looking at about £10,000 at least.
That's a lot of money to spend on knocking one out, isn't it? Really?
Absolutely, yes, because this is essentially masturbation. It's not sex.
Did you just say you could buy them with scars?
Yes, there's all sorts of customisations that you can do. The last request I had for something like this, it wasn't sick. What they wanted was a computer game character.
Oh, yeah. And
this game character had scars on their face and stuff, so I had to copy them.
Oh, OK, right, I see. And is this do you make a living out of this, Phil?
Oh, yes, yeah. It's what I do full-time.
Right, OK. So how many... You say you've been going for 2 years. How many do you reckon you've sold, then? Oh, God.
Well, at the start, it was as little as, sort of 5 to 10 a month, but now we're about sort of 20, 25 a month now. This whole sex robot thing in the media is really helping.
That's incredible. And who is obviously, I imagine there's some form of confidentiality, so I don't want names, numbers and addresses, but who's buying them? What kind of people are buying them?
This is the perennial question that everyone wants to know. And you would be surprised to know just how many normal people out there are buying them. I mean, there are obvious people. There'd be like amputees from the armed forces, stuff like that, and you understand that. So just supply. And you would expect the main demographic of the sales to be represented by these sort of basement-dwelling, sort of mothers.
What we used to call the Dirty Mac Brigade.
Yeah, or maybe sort of the new Uber nerds, who are very intelligent but never leave home, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so few times I've sold to these kinds of people. You'd be surprised how many times I sell to couples.
No. What husband and wife come in and they want to get a Samantha to kind of spice up the bedroom a bit?
That's usually the idea, although it usually ends up getting a bit more involved than that, because if you try to get... Assuming that the couple are going for a female doll,
yes,
I've sold male dolls before as well. But imagine getting the guy and the girl, and they're trying to agree on the right doll.
Oh,
that's going to be hard.
Well, that's the point of it, isn't it? These jokes write themselves, guys. So hang on. Are you telling me, and you've said so many things that I want to go back on, are you telling me, Phil, that you have couples coming in? Is it an actual shop? Can people come in and see these things?
Oh, I've got a workshop.
Right. So you telling me that people come in and a husband and wife she's going, well, no, I prefer the French breast. He's going, no, I want massive jugs. They're actually arguing about the specifics of the doll.
By and large, that's essentially the argument that they will have.
Wow.
A woman will want realistic proportion breasts, whereas the guy generally wants the Pamela Anderson look.
Yeah. You mentioned amputees would. You said obviously amputees and veterans damaged in physically damaged in combat. Why obviously? Because I hadn't considered that a possibility. Because amputees can still find love and sexual contact, can't they?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It just is infinitely more difficult. I mean, just consider yourself with one arm and one leg, and then trying to be the cool guy down the bar, trying to impress some girl. It's tricky. Everyone has a thing that they don't like. It's just for amputees, it's a lot worse.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's yeah. I find this fascinating. Have you got? Do you? I don't.
Do I partake?
Yeah. Do you have your cake and eat it?
Oh yes, absolutely. I've got about. It depends on what time of year it is, because I may sell some on, but I've usually got about between 4 and 6 at any one time in my personal collection.
What's your favourite flavoured cake?
Again, it changes, but at the moment, I've got a fairly short, very fair-skinned San Hui doll.
Yeah.
And I just like the facial features on it. It's kind of detailed. It's very nice. It has a tongue which you can stick out, which is all very cheeky. And I put it. It didn't come with this from the manufacturer, but I put a pink wig on there.
Ooh, yeah.
And to give it a sort of modern look, and it looks really, really good.
I'm looking at the Sam Hui dolls now. Which one have you got? Sabine? Svetlana?
Oh, you're looking for Bridget.
Bridget, where's Bridget?
Oh, go into the galleries.
Hang on a minute. Where's... so I've gone to the San Hui.
Oh, well, if you're in dolls, go to galleries.
Oh, hang
go
on a
back
second.
up to the menu, and you'll see galleries and FAQ.
Hang on a second. I'm not very good at the internet, as you may have noticed. Right, so I'm going to go to the home... Oh, no, I've lost it now. I've lost it. So, home, galleries, yes. Here we go.
And then there should be a San Hui gallery. And you'll see Bridget at the top.
Bridget, there we go. Bridget, let's have a... Oh, yeah, look at that. Oh, she's a very naughty doll, isn't she?
Yeah, those green eyes are very piercing.
Yes, they are. And I imagine those nipples are quite piercing as well. They look...
Oh, they're splendid.
Splendid nipples. Did you say that when you finish with them, you sell them on?
There's quite the second-hand market going on because, of course, they're so expensive, you see. Not everyone can just sort of drop...
That's a little bit... That is a little bit... that's a bit fruity, isn't it, Phil?
Oh, yes.
Second-hand Sexbot?
You do have two options here, because you can have the standard fixed vaginal cavity, which is as you would expect, or you can have the removable.
Yep.
So you can take the insert out, as it's called, and if you were to sell it on, buy a fresh one, put that in, and then it's a bit like buying a second-hand shoe, I suppose. But you can clean this down clinically, if you will, and many people do. You can save like £700-800.
Here's the thing. I was told by my grandmother, never buy shoes from a charity shop because someone's probably died in them. I wonder if that rule applies to the Sexbots as well.
You never know, do you? You never know.
God. So how much... OK, right, this is interesting. I didn't realise there was a second-hand market. So how much cheaper is a second-hand Sexbot then?
Assuming that everything's as it should be, as though it was coming out of the box, you're looking at about 50-60% of the retail price.
And does it come out of the box?
Oh, yes.
OK. And do you... Because we had Samantha on the other week with Aaron. I'm guessing you must have seen that they've got a lot of publicity. And that one spoke, and what was interesting was you had to woo her. You couldn't just go straight in for a grab and a whatever. You had to sort of hold her hand and stroke her face before she kind of got warmed up. Is that becoming more common, that kind of thing?
Well, everyone's talking about it, and there's this large rush in terms of who can get the technology in place first. Yeah. Now, I take it you're aware of the Uncanny Valley idea?
No, what's the Uncanny Valley?
Well, when you start, say you create something like a human face,
yes.
as they are in the robot industry, you get so close to the real thing, but it's just enough out that it freaks you out. You can tell it's meant to be human, but you're never going to mistake that for a human.
Yeah.
That sort of thing can start to apply.
Right, okay. We read stories as well of people marrying their sex bots, and is there a danger, Phil, that certain types of people might confuse the physicality of a sex bot with a real relationship? Because it's not a real relationship, is it?
No, in no real way. At best, it's a hollow substitute. I mean, it could. However, these people are the people who would be mentally or socially damaged enough that anything could trigger them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course.
Because what I notice is with a lot of the doll owners, I mean, I've been to European doll meets and stuff like that, so I get to see a lot of the people involved. And it's as though they got the doll, it's all very nice, and then they started to notice all the feminine aspects of it. So it's as though the guys actually become a bit more feminine. You'll see them like combing their hair lovingly and stuff like that. And no, that blouse doesn't work. That will have to come off. Get another one on. And they're just caring. And I think that's what's missing in a lot of guys' lives. There's no feminine outlet.
Yeah. What is Bridget wearing at the moment?
Oh, just a little swimsuit.
Okay, that's your favourite thing, is it?
The swimsuit or the doll?
Well, the swimsuit on her.
Oh, I got that one because it was colourful and it'll come up well under photography.
Because it must be a faff. Because obviously you can dress them however you want to dress them. Do you sell costumes for them as well?
I do have a few, but size is a bit of an issue because as these dolls are supposed to be life-sized.
Yeah.
Well, most of them come from China, so they're not going to be Western-sized.
No.
But even from China, they're still a bit diminutive.
Yeah.
You can get the taller ones now, but so that can make getting clothing a bit of an issue. So when I'm getting things like, say, fancy dress costumes or just clothing, I try to buy it from China because they're small sizes,
right.
Or smaller.
It must be a faff dressing them. What are the most popular costumes for them?
Catholic schoolgirl, nurse, the usual ones that you would see in Anne Summers.
Now, is there any danger, Phil? It's interesting you mentioned the schoolgirl thing, and I always struggle with the schoolgirl outfit. I know it's a bit of sexy fun that people. I always confuse me a bit. Is there a danger that what my dad would call wrong-uns could be buying these dolls and dressing them up as schoolgirls, and not in the kind of sexy 25-year-old woman in a schoolgirl, but actually imagining that they are children?
Yeah, kind of going the sort of paedophilic.
Yeah, is there a danger of that?
That it could push someone over there?
Yeah.
It's very difficult to kind of really envisage the doll as being properly human.
Right.
Mind you, I'm well-balanced. Now, if I wasn't well-balanced, I may have a little trouble with that.
Yes.
But I don't see it pushing anyone over. I do see a big push in the opposite direction. Oh. If we were to... if I'm allowed to kind of go straight to the heart of the matter.
Yeah, get straight to the heart of the matter, yes.
We've got these child sex dolls that technically are available.
Wow.
I don't believe there's any legislation in place really to combat this.
You don't sell those, do you?
No. There was a bit of a question over, there was a 100-centimetre doll, so it's like just over 3 feet high. Tiny, but it's got a massive set of breasts on it. Wow. Now, people were buying these because they're nice and light. The ones which are about a normal woman's height doesn't sound much at 45 kilos, but trying to lift one of those and manoeuvre it about is really heavy. I tell customers, if you've got a back injury, that is too heavy for you, you won't be able to do it.
Yeah.
You need something that's sort of like 25 to 35 max.
So the smaller one, you're saying, instead, people as far as you're aware, they're not buying it because they want to pretend it's a child. They're buying it because maybe they're going away for the weekend or something, and it's more portable.
Absolutely. I mean, you would have trouble with this one. It kind of has like an anime-type face, so it doesn't even try and look real.
Yeah.
And the one breast is as big as the head, if not bigger, so it's almost Pamela Anderson dimensioned. You wouldn't mistake this for a child, but if you had those tendencies already, you could probably make that happen in your own head. Now, with the whole child issue thing there, I would think a bit of regulation in the industry to say kind of what's allowed, what's not allowed for the public. But if there was a prescription from a doctor or a psychologist or something like that to say, right, I'm going to prescribe one of these dolls, I can get it supplied, government approved or whatever, and then that goes back to the psychologist or whatever, and then it's this, shall we say, well, it wouldn't necessarily be convicted, but tendencies, they could then get an outlet.
Yes, I think I get what you're saying. That if these dolls saved a child from being molested, then that would be preferable. It's a really we kind of talked about this a few weeks ago, Phil. It's a really interesting ethical and philosophical question. So this is your business. What do your friends think, Phil? When you what did you do before this? You said you've been doing this for 2 years. What was the career before?
I'd kind of had a long IT career.
Right. Okay. So when you said to your mates, right, computers, no, I'm out. I'm getting in the Sexbot business. They must have thought you were nuts.
Well, pretty much. I initially was just looking for a business model with something that I could sell that was fairly expensive, but not too expensive like a car. So I didn't have to sell like hundreds of them a week. And then when I just thought, because I'd had a couple of dolls by this point, I thought, well, why don't I get into this? And again, all my friends said, you're going to make a living off this?
Yeah.
And I put enough money away to kind of live on nothing for 6 months. And within like 3 months, the business was already making a profit. So I haven't looked back. They still look at it in amazement.
Yeah.
Go, really? You're making a living?
I find it absolutely incredible. And am I right? With any hole's a goal. Is that right with these? Is that how it works? You can do what you want.
Most of them. There's a few that don't.
They say no.
Well, they will do once they get the AI.
Right.
But no, some of them don't have. They'll have a tiny mouth, so you can position it for photography, but that's it.
Oh dear. What does your wife think about it?
My wife? Never happened.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm divorced or anything like that. No. I've never been married.
Oh, okay. So do you? If I ask anything too improper, then please say. I'm assuming you don't have a girlfriend. Do you think that, like dolls like Bridget, the Sanhui model, do you think that they get in the way of you having an intimate relationship with a woman, or have you just made the decision? Nah, not going there. Not interested.
Or in terms of the marriage?
Just in terms of relationships, sexual and emotional relationships with women.
Relationships really don't have a problem in terms of women or anything like that, because I've had this discussion, I think it was with a master's student at one point, and she was saying, is the doll going to replace the relationships that you have? And I said, well, a lot of your relationships are actually based on speech and body language.
Yep.
This isn't something that you can really do with a doll. It's like these people who say, I want a sex robot with so much personality or changeable personalities. Well, try having a conversation with Siri.
Yeah,
Apple can't do that yet. No. And convince you, I don't think a sex doll manufacturer is going to be able to do it.
Here's the thing. We've all, as younger men, Phil, we've all had, maybe we've worn something, maybe we've taken some kind of narcotic, maybe we've done something to enhance the act of masturbation. And at the end, you finish and you look at yourself and go, oh no, what was I thinking? And I just wonder if someone splashes out $5,000 on a doll, and then they finish and they go, oh no, what was I thinking? Do you know, I wonder if there's any buyer's remorse.
Oh yes, I've had it to one or two of my customers. I mean, they generally come back to me and said, everything's fine, everything's working exactly the way it is, but it's just not for me.
Yeah.
So then they ask, is there any some sort of buyback that I can do for them? What I usually do is I'll take a whole set of like pro photos for them, put it on the website, and whatever it finally sells for, I'll take like a £30 cut or something like that.
Okay. Give us the website again, Phil, in case people want to go and have a little look at that. Christmas is coming up.
Okay, www.the-doll-house.com.
Christmas is coming up. Maybe, I don't know, we've got a lot of young people listening. Maybe your parents aren't getting on very well. This might help
I've got a lot of pensioner customers as well.
Beautiful. Phil, thank you, mate. I appreciate that. I wish you the best of luck.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for the platform.
Thank you very much indeed. Always happy I love giving platform. It's what we do here. Martin, stay there. I'll come to you in a second. Really giving me a lot to think about there. And I certainly know what I'll be asking Father Christmas for this year. 03444991000. This is Talk Radio.
Experience the unconventional.
Hello.
The unpredictable.
Don't you think that's a bit weird?
And the completely unorthodox.
It was my birthday.
With rule-free Iain Lee.
I was just trying to generate a bit of content.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee.
Hate alarm clocks. Hate going to work.
On Talk Radio.